Hey guys, it's Amber from NotableInk.com and I'm back with CutCardStock with another 2-for card set. I'm going to be using Jelly Bean Green Pop Tone cardstock. I'm also going to use Indigo Discount cardstock, and this cardstock has a linen finish to it, so it does have some texture. And I do like, when I'm using different cardstocks, I think it's totally okay to mix different finishes. I think it adds a little more character to your project, and this linen texture is really pretty. It's a nice blue. And then I'm in love with this sunflower cardstock. So this cardstock is also from CutCardStock.com, and it's the Royal Sundance Fiber cardstock. It's a beautiful warm yellow, and then you can see it has the flecks of the brown fiber in it, which gives it a really nice rustic feel. This is on clearance and there's limited supply, so if you're wanting to get this cardstock, I definitely go online and grab yourself some. We're going to use Leaf Canopy from Altenew. This is one of their, I think, best-selling sets. I see tons of cards with this set, so we're going to do something a little bit different today, and that's the Stampin' Die bundle. And then we have the dotted swirl debossing cover die here. So this die doesn't cut, it only embosses the cardstock. Then to embellish, I have Berry Bright from Pretty Pink Posh, and then also Winter Days confetti from Pretty Pink Posh. I really prefer the confetti. I don't like the look of the circle cutout in a sequin, and also when I try and put those on, I end up getting glue on my jewel picker, so I prefer the confetti for those reasons. Here are the cards we're going to make today, and we'll go ahead and get started. So I've cut about 2-inch strips of each of these cardstocks, and I've added some glue tape to the front of this A2 size piece of Neenah Classic Crest Solar White. The type of cardstock that you use, or even the color, isn't really going to matter too much, because we're going to die cut directly from this panel. So I'm going to use my Teflon bone folder and just make sure everything is good and adhered. And I really should have added, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I really only added like 4 strips of the glue tape to the front. I really should have added more since I'm going to be die cutting this piece. There's going to be lots of little pieces. So maybe use like a stick it, or just use more glue tape than I did. So I've gone ahead and cut this with the leaf canopy, and you want to make sure you keep all of the little pieces. I've kept that in the die so that I can add them back easily. I decided to just use glue tape on the back of this, and I did cut it down in size with that rectangle die. That was the Hero Arts Infinity rectangle set, and I'm just going to adhere this directly to an A2 size piece of Neenah Classic Crest. And here I'm adding a little bit of glue to those inset pieces. Then I'm going to fit this back into the die cut to the negative space, and then I'm going to press those areas down and just carefully peel up the die cut so that those little pieces are left adhered to. So there's no glue on the back of the leaf, it's just the inset pieces that I have glue on. And that's going to help to adhere those pieces to the cardstock. And I do fiddle with this quite a bit. I go really slowly just to make sure things are aligned, because I want to stamp the leaf canopy and I don't want those little pieces to be out of place, otherwise it's not going to stamp well. Alright, so I have all those little pieces adhered, and I have this second piece for another card, and I'm going to go ahead and deboss that A2 size piece of cardstock there with the same debossing, and I matched up the patterns on the leaf to the A2 size piece of cardstock. You can see that the leaf canopy stamp fits perfectly into that negative space, so that's how I've lined up my stamp to make sure things look perfect. And I'm going to use the Altenew Obsidian Pigment Ink. This is my favorite black ink for any kind of detail work, especially for sentiments. It's super black, and it stamps so crisply. So I'm just going to stamp that down, and one of the little pieces was just slightly out of place, so it stamped on it just a little bit, but for the most part things looked really good and lined up. And then I'm going to fit in this piece because I decided I wanted to stamp the outline onto this die cut as well, just for a little extra detail. But you could just leave it without any stamping on it. Fitting it into that negative space just eliminates the need for you to line up the stamp again, and it just helps to get everything stamped perfectly. There's no adhesive on the back of this die cut, so it peels up pretty easily, but I do go slowly just to make sure that I don't knock off any of those inlaid pieces that I've already put down. So here's that finished card. I just added a cinnamon strip and some sequins. And then moving on to the second card, I had put some tape runner on the back of the die cut thinking I was just going to adhere it completely down, but then I decided I did want it popped up. I didn't want to realign it, so I'm just lifting up each leaf individually and adding some foam squares behind them. So I will eventually have this entire area, or this entire die cut, popped up. I'm not going to have you watch me put each little foam square. And these are foam squares from scrapbook.com. I really like them. The backing is pretty easy to get off. So I've stamped another sentiment from the Leaf Canopy set, and I'm just getting that adhered down. I do have the strip popped up, and this time I'm popping it up with the Derice foam strips. These are really narrow strips that I find are just perfect for sentiment strips like this. So I've just trimmed down a piece, and I'm getting that lined up behind there so you can't see it. And then I'll trim off the excess from the back. I trimmed down both of these panels, and then I matted them on an A2 size piece of cardstock. One of them just regular white cardstock, the Neenah Classic Crest, and the other one the blue linen cardstock. So for this one, I wanted to add a little bit more color, so I used that same blue linen cardstock. And here are the finished cards. If you don't have time to color with Copics or watercolor or your other mediums, color blocking with cardstock is a great technique to add some quick color to your cards. I hope you give it a try. If you do, tag me at Notable Ink and at CutCardStock. We'd love to see what you're creating. Thanks so much for stopping by today, and I'll see you real soon with more inspiration.